Hello, hello. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Today we have a great show. Welcome to Socially Linked live show. And today I have a very special guest. We're going to talk about um, purpose. Hello, hello. Happy Tuesday,
Hold on. There's
everybody. Today we have a
extra
great
noise.
show. Sorry. We're going to talk about, hold on one second. Too much purpose, performance, and productivity. All those things are great ingredients, if you will, for successful business. So today's guest is Evelyn Gray. She's my friend. She's someone that I admire a lot. She's an author. She's a productivity and stress management certified coach, consultant, speaker, author, certified ADHD and chronic disorganization specialist. She has a particular sayings or slogans. It says, if you can't find it in 30 seconds, it's in the wrong place. That's true. And she specializes in clutter control, coaching, consulting, space planning. So, and she is the author of amazing books like Successful Organizing Strategies for the Chronically Disorganized, The Impact of One Voice, Business Mom's Guide, No More Paper Junk Mail, Organizing from the Right Side of the Brain. That's an interesting title. Wisdom from the Heart. So, please help me welcome Evelyn Gray. Yay, Evelyn!
Oh, thank you so much, Gracie, for today's event. Also, I just had a collaborative book called The Impact of One Voice. It hit Amazon's #1 bestseller a couple of days
Oh,
ago. And the title of
wonderful.
my chapter is called The High Cost of Clutter.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you for letting us know. Uh, Thank you for being in this show. And I'm so excited to hear about this book, the what is it about challenge in the clutter?
Oh, uh, the latest book for Amazon.
Yes.
Oh, that's called The Impact of One Voice with other authors in there. And then my title is The High Cost of Clutter.
Oh, yes. That could take us uh, hours or weeks to find something. Yeah. So, how did you get into this decluttering? What was your passion that make you be a coach in this field?
Well, I had three girls. I was active in school, and then I was teaching a reading program called Partners in Print. And so, what they did is we focused on the kindergartners for them to pick up a book. We knew they didn't read, but the more they saw the words and the pictures, the more they did. And so, when they read like 5 books, we gave them a personal pan pizza.
Ah,
And
okay.
so that inspired them to pick up a book and have them bring the books home, and the parents would help them read it. So, and I had to learn to organize, though I was a bigger house, like 3,000 square feet, and it was 2 stories. So I didn't want to go up and down all the time. So I had to create systems for myself. And
Exactly.
I,
Systems. That's the
I
key word.
oh yeah, system stands for save yourself space, maximize your time, energy, money, and your sanity. You can
Oh,
never save time because once that second is gone, it's gone.
it's
But
gone.
you can manage your task within that time frame.
Yes, that's true. That's true. So one thing I want to mention is that we met at a networking event
Right.
at the St. Gabriel Chamber of Commerce. And one thing that stood out, besides your personality and your great energy, is that you were always wearing something that everybody else was not wearing. A hat, a flower, something that make you stand out from the crowd. And that's why you and I are wearing hats today, because back in those meetings, back when we used to meet in person, you were wearing a beautiful hat, kind of like this one, a fascinator,
Right.
and you explained to me uh, why we should use something like this. Could you elaborate on that?
Oh yeah. I just tell everybody I have a attitude.
Yes,
They ask me about my hats. It's kind of like a trademark, and if I take it off, people don't recognize me. So if you're in a large conference, for instance, like 200 or 500 people, nobody will remember your face or your name, but they'll remember what you wear. And so a
right.
hat will always stick out, and there are very, very few women that do wear a hat, but I find that the men just love hats. So it's an attraction thing that you can see from far away.
Right. So people could say, well, I don't remember her name, but she was wearing a blue hat or a red hat or, a pretty hat. And then people will start looking for someone with a hat.
Well, not only that, if you don't wear a hat, you don't wear black above your waist because everybody's wearing black. And so what you do is you all blend in. So you should wear a bright color like the periwinkle blue that I have on, or a red, or a nice bold print or something, so people can spot you 100 to 200 feet away.
Right. And it's also part of your branding
Yes,
and to stand out, not just to stand out in a crowd. Uh, in general as part of your branding, so you can say,
right.
you're different, you're unique from others, so you want to show them, hey, here I am.
Well, not only that, it's kind of like a marketing tool because
Right.
a woman in particular will say, well, you have a pretty hat. Now they've come up to you. You're not selling yourself because they've come up to you, and now you can start a conversation.
Right, that sparks a conversation.
Yes.
Yeah, and people will ask, so who are you, what are you doing, and why do you wear a hat? And like the other day I met with Teddy Burris, and he says it all starts with a conversation. So
Right.
this hat will make people say, who is that lady? Let me ask her what is she all about? And that leads into a conversation that eventually, not right away, but eventually will turn into a relationship. It will turn into you build the the no, like, and trust factors, and eventually this person could be um, a paying client.
Well, yeah, they don't want you to have a conversation about trying to sell yourself. They want to get to know you personally. And when they do, that's when you can reel them in and say, let's go have coffee or another conversation at one time. And we'll talk about your mammoth ski trip. Now
Right,
you're getting somewhere.
right. Find what you have in common. Yes, I love that. You're an expert in that, Evelyn.
Thank
Yes.
you.
So, so purpose. Let's talk about purpose. What is the purpose of being organized besides, saving time?
Well, as Winnie the Pooh once said, organizing is what you do before you do it. So when you do it, it's not all mixed up.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Yeah, so it's not necessarily about putting it away. What it is can you retrieve it and how quickly? People spend up to an hour a day or more just looking for stuff. Doesn't mean they find it, just means they're looking for it. So, how much time, money, stress, missed deadlines is it costing you every single day? And procrastination.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that's a big one. Procrastination.
Yeah.
Yes. And performance. Oh, hold on. Let me close the window because the dog is
I,
barking. Oh, hold on. Sorry about that. The dog decided to, uh,
voice his opinion.
yeah, exactly. She has a voice and a very loud one. So yes, I like the way you explain a purpose. If we cannot spend time looking for something and getting frustrated, we can't find it, and then the funny thing is that when you're looking for something, let's say some glasses, you can't find them, you turn the whole house or your office upside down, then you find something else that you're like, oh, I was looking for this 3 weeks ago and it just showed up. So that's part of this organization.
Well, sometimes, Gracie, people have great systems, but they're placed wrong in their environment, like in their room. So if you just switch it, then it works like a oil machine. Not only that, like when you come home, you should have what I call a diva bowl, and pick out a bowl that's high enough, like maybe 6 inches, something that looks decorative. You can do a man's bowl too, but each person has to pick out their own bowl. What you do is you throw everything in there, let's say by the back door. Now you have a neat mess. So I teach people how to have a neat mess so they can find it in 30 seconds or less. That way, if you know, you do have to create that habit of throwing your keys, your cell phone, or whatever, and get it high enough, like maybe 6 inches, and just throw everything in there and make sure you do it. Now, if you have trouble getting into a habit, what I do myself is I'll put up a little colored piece of paper with a Sharpie, not a pen or a pencil, because a Sharpie sticks out and bites you, and write on it. Put cell phone, in there, and make sure you have your charger around that area so then you can charge it while you're in there, or anything that's in there. You pick that spot. Nobody else picks it, because if someone else picks it, I can guarantee you the system will not work.
Right, right. I like that system. Yeah. So performance. Could you explain more about performance?
Well, your performance is like your productivity. I can increase your productivity up to 43% in 3 months through my Steps to Success coaching program. And I do that virtually. And we work on a system together that will work for you. You tell me what your challenges are, and then we'll go step by step and figure out something that works for you. A lot of people that I talk to had great systems years ago, but they stopped using it. And I said, well, why'd you stop using it? It was working for you. And they say, oh, thanks for reminding me.
People get bored, or they're like, oh, why use this when, I don't know.
When you get a new job or something changes in your life. And what it does, sometimes you stop using the stuff that really worked for you, but you don't realize it. So with my systems, color coding and labeling are important. If you saw my house and my sheds, you'll see labels all over the place. Why? I can't remember. We're on information overload. So I get out my Brother label maker, and I use blue and black, and like boxes for holiday seasons, I label them all 5 sides. Why? Because if you or someone else puts them in, they don't put them in right, that label's going to show. And then the label on top of the lid, that will match that particular box. Otherwise, you're trying to put it on each and every box to find out why. If you just label it what it is, you just put on the Brother label machine how many labels you want, peel and stick, and you're done.
Right.
And that only takes probably less than 5 minutes, but just think how long it's taking you to try to remember where it is. I go a little further of organizing the inside of the box also, but
Right.
we don't have time.
I remember a few, I think it was 2018 or 19, I'm not sure which year. You gave me a consultation on organizing and setting up the color coding, like you said, and that did help me a lot, because now when I organize the Christmas stuff, the holiday, the Halloween, the 4th of July, all the decorations, outdoor decorations, now they're in boxes and they're in labels and they're by season. I don't have
Great.
4th of July mixed with Christmas, and Christmas mixed with Halloween. They're all in their separate places, and I have the labels. So I learned that from you.
Well, another thing, you can go one step further. When you set up all your holiday decorations, go take pictures of them, put them in a 3-ring binder, and put dividers according to the holidays, starting with, New Year's, whatever. And then anybody can set up that room without you being there.
Oh, good. It's like instructions.
Well, it's like a cross reference. You don't have to tell them, well, over at this table. Well, the decoration's over on this table. They don't have to know. They just need to go in the box. But what I do on top of that, I use tab Ziploc baggies, and I label on both sides with scratch piece of paper, and I use packing tape, not regular tape, what that article is. So when I pack up and that bag is empty, I know exactly what is missing. And that happened to me one year. And when it did, that's when I changed my system. I never have to worry about what's missing, that it's not put back in the right box. But I also put the box number on it. And so I don't even have to read the label. I just know it goes in this box. So
Okay.
let's look for the tab Ziploc baggie, not the ones with the double tracks. Those take you forever to close.
Oh, I love that. Those tips, because a lot of times we don't think of that. We just think, okay, we're gonna put everything in a bag and they're done. They're in the storage.
But that's why we even label things that we buy, because they have labels on them. But the key is put it on both sides so you can throw it in that box. So you already know the space allocated for that particular box, right?
Right. Yeah. Great. Yes, I also, that consultation you gave me helped me a lot also, because now I have my folders, my file folders in colors, and they're labeled. So it's easy, just open the drawer and find what you're looking for and find it easily.
Right, right. Another thing that, do you fold the folders backwards so the tab is in the front instead
Yes.
of the back?
Yes.
Yeah, that takes a little while to get used to. That only takes one step to open the folder when the tab is in the front, right behind the Pendaflex file, clear plastic, like 3-inch, the same side. Because when you take that folder out, because you can put 3 in per Pendaflex file holder, you know exactly what file is missing. There's no guessing, because we're on information overload and we can't remember.
Right.
And you have the color of the folder the same color as the Pendaflex hanging file. Otherwise, it won't work. It stresses you out. It's too much activity.
Yes.
Another big thing that I use is called a brain dump.
Oh.
And a brain dump is taking like a notebook like this, spiral though. Put it by your bedside, but you can put it, if you want, on your desk. And those are the things that you want to do. If you go to bed thinking about all the things you need to set up for the day, instead of spending 10 minutes, this is what I'm going to do tomorrow, call these people, put the phone number down, it will keep you up all night.
Yeah.
So wake up in the middle of the night if you have one of those little light pens. If you don't, but don't light up the whole room. Write down what it is, number it, skip every other line, and date the top of the page. You can tear it out in the morning if you would like. Now you can get ahead really quickly the next day.
Yes, it's so much easier. And then, when sometimes when we go to bed, we're like, oh, I have to call so and so, oh, I better remember to do X, Y, and Z. But if you prepare ahead, like you mentioned, write it down. So the next morning you just sit and you're like, okay, what's on my list this morning to do this morning? So there it is. It's easy.
So you can do it at the end of the day, for about 10 minutes, or just before you go to bed when you're saying, oh, I got to call Evelyn tomorrow. Just write it right down. And I always put the date. Dating is critical, because then you know the sense of urgency of that particular task.
Yes, yes. Hold on. I want to show some. Oh, the chat. Okay, here's the chat. Sometimes okay. Hello, Enrique. Thank you for being here. Thank you. And also, Marcelo was here. Oh, Marcelo was here. Thank you for being here. If you have any questions, please let us know. I have okay, Enrique says he has one by his bed to take notes of my brilliant thoughts. That's amazing. That's wonderful. Yes.
That's rare to find somebody doing that already. Congratulations.
Yes, good. Thank you for sharing that. And yes, when we're in bed, we're like, or taking a shower or doing something that we're busy, we don't have time to, um, slow down and write a note. So if you have that notebook close by, you just write it down and come back to that thought later when you have more time, right?
Yeah, I have sticky notes, a Sharpie, and paper in every single room in my house except for the hallway, because I don't want to have to walk over someplace else and then I forget the quality of the thought that I have. So I'll use sticky notes and write with a Sharpie and at least pin it up there for right now. It doesn't mean I can't transfer it, but I've got the quality of the idea or question, problem, whatever it is, right then and there. And
Right.
date it. Please date it.
Yeah, that's another important. So it's not like, oh, when did I write this? Or how long ago did I have this thought? Enrique said that he learned that from Thomas Edison. Wow.
Yes. Thomas Edison had the gift of ADD, attention deficit disorder. I don't call that. I call it attention difference distractibility factor, because those
Oh,
are our creative people. And if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have a single thing in front of us, because of electricity powers everything else.
wow. I didn't know that he was ADHD.
Well, they combine the term now. ADHD was his attention deficit hyperactive disorder. I don't call it a deficit. There are some that have more uh, complicated issues, especially with time.
Oh,
You can't, like I say, it's like thought management that you can control a little bit more, but you can't control the time, because we all have the same amount of time. And if
yeah.
we waste it and not maximize what we're doing within that time frame, that's when we have problems, and it affects our credibility as a person and as an entrepreneur.
Right, right. Great. So tell me about productivity. Is productivity mentioned in your book or
Well, I always tell people, only schedule 50% of your day and leave the other 50% for interruptions. That's called your ID, not your driver's license. ID stands for interruptions and distractions. Now, how can we lessen them? So, if you have a regular scheduled day and you have a list of things you have to do, I suggest you write beside it approximately how long you think it's going to take. So with the regular schedule stuff, don't take off more than 3 items and put it on for today's list, because you want to create success for yourself at the end of the day, not beat yourself up because you didn't get enough done because you overscheduled it. So if you write down on the list when you're making it of things to do, and you write the timeline, then you write beside it how long it did take, maybe in a different color ink, like red and blue or whatever.
hmm.
Now you know how to plan that particular task again within your day.
Yeah,
Does
yeah.
that make sense to you?
Yes, it does. Yes.
Yeah.
Enrique wrote here, the other day I woke up to this thought. One road ministries. Many roads lead to trouble, but only one road leads to life. That's a great thought.
Mhm. It
Yeah.
is. So we have to learn not to overschedule our day, because we are on information overload, and we have to look at it again. I mean, I do it all the time. I'm looking at it again now. And I do declutter my home once or twice a year, and I'm going through that now. But it's taking a lot of time to label, making sure my containers out in my sheds are all the same size so I can move them from one place to the other,
Hmm.
without saying, oh, now I got to move this other one to do that. So if they're basically all the same, it's easy to move them if you need to do it.
Right,
But
right.
once it's done, I can find it in 30 seconds or less.
Yes, great. Enrique, with your thought, I think your thought is going to lead to a program or to a new experience that you will share with with your community. So this is not just as a thought. I think it's something bigger than that. It's gonna grow into something bigger. Okay, this is what he says. There is more white space on my calendar than planned activities. Oh, okay. Well, I
That's
do.
that's okay, because then what you have is what I call a brain break, and I coined that term years ago. And what it means is you take a break from something. Like if you get stuck, go and take a walk around the block,
Hmm.
and you're not forced in the environment that's creating the stress. And sometimes you can actually solve it out there because of the fresh air and the green. And so I had one lady do it, and she said she increased her productivity 40% that day by
Oh,
just taking maybe 10 minutes for a break. So
yeah,
it's important not to schedule every single thing, because you can come up with ideas and solutions during that time.
Right, in between or when you take a break. Yes, that's
You
wonderful.
have to reward yourself. You can't, your life is not all about working. It's
Right.
enjoying people and creating memories.
Yeah, there's more to life.
Yes.
It's okay. He says it's intentional so I can create. Yes, that's the key. Intentional.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Yes. So tell me about this new book that you wrote and the chapter. Can you share with us about this chapter that you wrote?
Yeah. The Impact of One Voice, as I said, got #1 bestseller last week. And it's with three
Congratulations.
other authors. It's a collaborative effort. And my chapter is The High Cost of Clutter, in which I worked with a lady who was a low level hoarder, like up to your, maybe your hips or something, if you're around 5'5".
Oh,
And the husband didn't tell me what was going on. He hired me. I came in and I was surprised. The woman was overwhelmed with anxiety. She had to sit down for about 20 minutes to gather her composure. I
oh.
assumed that she had some mental challenges. So
Mm.
she had to clean up her clutter within 30 days, which is almost impossible no matter what type of individual you are. And we started finding jewelry. But the bank threatened to throw everything away, even if it was diamonds. They were just going to take a dumpster and throw it away and give her 30 days. And she was moving from a 2,000 square foot home to 900 square feet in a assisted living facility. And her husband was divorcing her at the same time.
Oh,
So I
oh,
had to change gears. Unfortunately, I didn't get to finish with her, but something like that, when you don't ask permission, of letting go or gifting to people, not junk, throw away. Um, they can go into anxiety, depression, and also, in rare instances, but death.
oh,
Because you're
wow.
taking away their stuff that represents safety to them. Sometimes inanimate objects like Mickey Mouse stuffed animal, that's their family and friends. There's no judging, no shaming. So there are
Oh,
reasons why people have clutter, and I found with a lot of my clients, they have very high IQs. Okay,
oh,
and they know, but they hang on to it for security. And you have to find out when it started and why. And unless you find out from there, you're not going to solve the issue. And if you take it away, they'll go back and hoard even more.
oh, wow. That's
So you
sad.
have to be very careful in the language that you use with people, because that's their stuff, not yours.
Yeah, they have to give permission, give themselves permission to let go of whatever
And
it is, material stuff.
yeah, and sometimes the key issue is we did an experiment with the organization I belong to, the Institute for Challenging Disorganization. I had a friend come over, she brought her stuff. The minute she touched it, she couldn't let it go. But if I touched it, then she could let it go. So there
Oh,
are emotional issues, charges attached to each one of your paper or your things, if that's what you want to call.
oh, wow. I didn't know that. Enrique says emotional ties are hard to break.
Absolutely. And that's why it's important to have somebody who understands you, or do a coaching program to help you get through those issues
Mhm.
and resolve them, hopefully permanently. So I look for permanent solutions when I work with my client, not just temporary ones. You don't learn anything that way. But
No.
I find the virtual organizing is very beneficial because they touch and they put away. And if they have trouble telling me what their issue is, I said, just send me a picture, because how they verbalize is not necessarily how I understand. It's not wrong by any means. It's just that they're having trouble doing that, so I can help them.
Oh, oh, that's sad that they're having emotional ties
Oh, absolutely.
and more than that, even more than that. I don't know what else, but it's hard for them to let go.
Well, yeah, I ran into a guy who lost his job, and then he had to leave his home. Well, he had to give up a lot of things, and he really loved this patio set. So I asked his permission. I said, "May I offer you a suggestion?" And I didn't know him at all. And I said, "Why don't you give your patio set to your best friend that you visit all the time, and make
Mm,
an arrangement when you get your job back and things are settled, that you can pick it up and bring it back home." So anytime he went over his friend's house, he got to sit in his own patio set, and that meant a lot to them. He
Mm,
he he just appreciated that suggestion because he didn't have to throw it away or give it to the Goodwill. He was still keeping it, but temporarily in another place. So
yeah.
if you have things like a whole bunch of crock pots, give them to your friends, and when you need them for a party, borrow them back. But they're storing them, right?
Right, right. You don't have all that extra excess
That's right.
right. Yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes it's you know like a little paper, like a little certificate. Oh, we went on vacation to so and so, or those are hard to let go, but it's time, because when we clear our office or our home, it's making room for new, it's clearing also
New
your
man.
your energy, not just physical storage.
Well, I make mention that also you could take pictures and put it into one of those moving picture frames so you could hit it, like a PowerPoint, but it doesn't take up much room. And if you like a favorite picture, just stop it there for a little while. And oh, I want to see another picture. So you hit the go button and you go to the next. Now you have what you want, but it's in a compact form. You see
Right, you
what I
don't
mean?
have to bring the whole, like the old-fashioned box, big old box with a lot of pictures, and you go through all of them, and before you know it, you spend the whole day looking for one picture.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I used
Yeah.
to categorize mine by years.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Not by events, just by years, because I knew approximately when I went. Then I'd find all the pictures that I needed.
Yeah. So you have everything organized, everything.
And I do create new systems. If I create a system that doesn't work, then I try something else. By the second time, I usually get it. But it just depends. Sometimes you can't organize things because you don't have enough of it. Like one of the neat messes I have, because I have I just put it all in the folder. I label it. I just stick it in there. I don't care what order it's in, but at least it's in a category. And then when it's in a category, then you can go and pull it. You might end up putting it in a notebook. You don't know, but at least if the paper's not all over the desk. And the reason for the color coding, like you said, is a lot of times we don't even remember the name, but we'll
Right,
remember the category that's associated with that name. and
right.
and people think I ask them for two colors. Do you want red or green? Uh, well, they'll tell me they want red or green, and I said, if you go to the store, what color would you get for folders? They said green. I said no. I said if you get green, it won't work because the most important color that came to your mind was red. Then
Oh,
it will work. So don't ever change your mind on anything. Whatever first comes into your mind, that's what you do. Labels and everything.
oh,
Does
wow.
that make sense to you?
Yes, it does. It does.
Yeah.
And this reminds me that to double check my files and everything that I have organized to make sure what else I can implement.
Yeah. And then one of the favorite tools I gave on another podcast was set a timer for 15 minutes. When it goes off, then stop. I mean, if you need to file a paper, then finish that process. You can set it for another 15 minutes. I would suggest not going over an hour
Okay. Yeah.
for
Yeah.
one day because then it gets overwhelmed and then you can't finish anything. Or set aside a catch up day. That's not ketchup like KETCHUP. It's catch up day, and dedicate yourself to that day so you can catch up with whatever you couldn't get done for that week.
Right. Right. So your book is just one chapter. The
Just
latest
one
one.
chapter in this book. My other self published book was Successful Organizing Strategies for the Chronically Disorganized. And chronic disorganization means when all self help methods have failed and now it's affecting the quality of your life and your business and personal relationships.
Mm,
There's a
yeah.
lot of white space, so it's kind of not really like a workbook, but you could write in there. So I'm excited about my new book, the impact of one voice with the high cost to clutter, because it costs you more than your things. It costs you your relationships also.
Right. Because people can't wait for you to get organized, or to find a certain paper, or an item, and you're like, well, I left it somewhere in here. No,
Well,
people.
I teach you how to create zones. So if you don't have a chance to put it away, then it will be in that zone. So
Oh,
I reduce your stress with less mess so you have more success.
oh, I like that. And it sounds like a rhyme.
I do that on purpose because people like it, or I turn your piles into smiles.
Oh, I like that. Oh, you're great at what you do, Evelyn.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. So tell us what is new with what's coming up. What are you doing in future months, or what are your plans, or your workshops, or anything?
Well, I plan on doing more speaking because I'm getting a lot of calls for that to help people to reduce their stress with less mess so they do have more success and know that it can be done, but a little bit at a time. And I'm going to be redoing my website and putting all my books on there so people have an opportunity to purchase them and improve the quality of their life
Yes,
and meet
yes.
new friends because you never can have too many friends.
Oh, yes, of course. Quality friends, yes, like
That's
yourself.
right.
I appreciate you. Yes. And so I so is do you have any workshops, or you're just gonna focus on speaking engagements?
Speaking engagements right now, possibly workshops in the future. And then I want to put out some workbooks that people can work on their own. Very short, though, because a lot of people have short attention spans. And if it takes a lot of work to do it, they're going to put it down.
Yeah, yeah, that you don't want to overwhelm people. It's just an
No.
easy 1, 2, 3 steps. Follow this and get
And
organized.
go. Well,
Yeah.
it takes people at least 3 to 6 times to learn something new. I know
Oh,
it does for me. And I find out by 6 times you're doing the same thing over and over again. Now you got it. So you don't want to learn too much at one time because I think that's a disadvantage. You have to learn it and then do it.
like learn it, master it, practice it, and then learn something new.
Yeah, practice, practice, practice. Just like I had a challenge getting on with the volume. I've never been on this particular type of
Oh,
software. And I said, wait a minute, look above. Because a lot of times the answers are right in front of you and you
right.
still don't see it. And so that's why it's important to have an accountability partner like myself as your coach.
Yes, yes, I highly agree with that. Yes, having
Mhm.
a accountability, someone to guide you, a coach, that
Right.
is the best investment you can do in yourself.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Because they can help you create new ideas based on what you say. And it's got to be tailored to you, no one else. Because
Right.
everybody has a different learning style.
Yes, yes, yes. So, what is the name of your website so we can type it here and people can
Okay.
check it
It's
out?
Evelyn Gray, Gray. And even if you misspell it, it will redirect. Evelyn Gray,
Oh,
Gray. And I bought the Grey. And that's something I learned a long time ago.
okay. So,
Right.
evelyngray.com.
Uh huh.
Okay, I'm gonna type it here.
And you can fill out a page there where I can contact you back. If not, um, my phone number is there. I have to get a new cell phone today, so you're going to have to give me a couple of days before you call my cell phone.
Okay, okay, great. Oh, and then you're here on LinkedIn, so we can also visit
Yes,
you here on your
yes,
profile. And if,
yes.
if anybody has a question about organizing, or productivity, or being more, how would I say, more effective on your organizing, yeah, right?
Yeah, remember, if you can't find it in 30 seconds, it's in the wrong place. And I'd be more than happy to give a free 30-minute consultation to anybody that comes to me. and I'll give them a free brochure on tips,
Yes,
organizing
yes.
tips.
And she has a wonderful, wonderful knowledge, uh, wisdom, and experiences. So I'm so glad that you are here today sharing so much so many great tips with us, Evelyn. Thank you so much for being here. And
Well,
and
thank you, Gracie. It's been an honor.
oh, yes, me too. And because of you, I wear hats, on special occasions so I can stand out from the crowd.
And people will come up to you to create the conversation. So it lets down that brick wall of selling. You're
Right.
going to become friends first.
Right. Find what you have in common. Oh, we're both attending
Absolutely.
the same event. We both live in the same community, or we both have people in common, and start from there. Build the know, like, and trust factors.
Absolutely. Because you want to have a smooth conversation, not like, what is my next sales question? You don't want that.
Right.
So,
Right. And
anyway,
building relationships is how you grow your business. It's how you grow as a
absolutely.
person too, because you by yourself, you can't do much. But when you have a community, when you a supportive community, then you can together you can create great things.
Hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, you can. And it's about time we get out and be with each other because we're social people and we need
Right.
that for our
Right.
energy.
Yes, and especially now, with COVID, we were isolated and we're just seeing people
Right.
online. So meeting in people again is such a great energy, such a excitement to see people like, oh,
Oh, yeah.
they're real people. Just like me, I get to see them and hold hands and shake hands.
Well, I wore a see-through plastic mask during COVID,
Mm.
and I used to smile, and people would come up to me. He says, "It's so nice to see your smile."
Yes, a
It made
smile.
me feel really good because I made them feel really good.
Yes. Exactly. If there's anything that we can give, it's our smile. Make
Absolutely.
yes. So okay,
Absolutely.
great. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Enrique, for being here, and thank you, Marcello or Marcello. Thank you for being here and for being part of the conversation. I appreciate you both. And if you guys have any questions, put it here, or if anybody's watching the replay, just type the questions if you have any, and we'll get back to it. So thank you so much, Evelyn, and thank you, everybody.
Thank you for coming today.